Game day's here, I can hear the crowd. Turn on the lights, fans are cranked up and loud. Red or blue, we wear it proud. Yeah, we love our teams in this border town. Chiefs and Royals, Blue Mizzou, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Hear that drum pounding in your feet. Yeah, you're marching to the beat of KC.
What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? What is going on, Jayhawk Nation? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy. And holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen, did the Kansas Jayhawks come prepared to put on an absolute display, put on an absolute showing for Kansas fans inside Allen Fieldhouse. I'm excited to really break this game down because we are on the positive side. Now, obviously, we went on the road and we lost at West Virginia, and it really felt like a gut punch. It felt like this team was going to really kind of have a long rest of the Big 12 play. And obviously, there still is a ton of games to be played, but this game, ladies and gentlemen, was a completely different showing. Whether it was the environment, whether it was being back home inside Allen Fieldhouse, whether it was the players-only meeting that Trey White discussed in the pregame on the radio broadcast, whatever it was, a switch was flipped. And this Kansas team absolutely decimated the undefeated number 2 team in the entire country, Iowa State Cyclones. I'm excited to really break this game down and provide you insight into this game and really just talk about how this was just a complete showing from this basketball team. It was from top down. Bill Self outcoached their coach, the players outplayed their players, and the environment was next level inside the greatest venue in all of college basketball. It was just an A-plus effort. So let's jump into this. Now, the Kansas Jayhawks delivered an emphatic statement at home, and I truly believe that that is bolded. Emphatic statement at home, absolutely dismantling the number 2 Iowa State Cyclones 84-63. Ladies and gentlemen, this game tipped off, and it wasn't close after that. In a performance marked by not only balanced scoring, the defense, which has been lacking, stepped up in an absolute way and was extremely stout. Crisp execution. We didn't turn the ball over at an astronomical rate. We didn't make a whole lot of mental mistakes. Really, this entire game, again, was from start to finish in Kansas's favor. They rode a ridiculously rowdy Allen Fieldhouse crowd. Kansas controlled the game from the opening tip, jumping out to a 44-23 first half lead. And they never let the Cyclones back into striking distance. Now, really into the second half, around the 13-minute mark, Iowa State didn't make a run. They went on a 9-2, maybe 11-2 type of run. But that was about as big of a run as the Cyclones would really kind of enforce. And really, right after that, the Kansas Jayhawks turned it back on and extended that lead back out to 20. Bill Self once again showed his coaching discipline, and I think this is where him and his staff really went back and evaluated. They have been playing a ton of players. They've been letting guys get out there because of foul trouble. They've been letting guys get out there really probably because of fatigue and giving opportunities. He stuck to his discipline tonight with his coaching staff, and they continued to just roll with 7 players, really until the game was well in hand. And there was like 25 seconds left when you saw Bill Self go to his bench and absolutely clear it out and sent majority of the walk-ons in and a few of the guys that really just don't get a whole lot of minutes. But obviously the outcome was already decided, and so he went ahead and cleared the bench. Now, breaking down each individual player, and I think this is where it gets really good. And the reason I'm going to say that is because we're going to start off with Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson did not have his best game. We've seen the elite performances from Darren Peterson, and it hasn't been full games. And this game was not a full game. He only played in 27 minutes. He scored 16 points, and most people are going to be like, well, you know, Lucas, he still contributed 16 points. He had 5 rebounds and an assist. Yes, but the fact that he just didn't shoot it the exact same way. He probably could have easily had 25 if he would have just knocked down a few more shots. He just seemed a little off tonight. He did not need to be the superstar, though, and I think that is the most significant thing. He did not need to be the superstar tonight, as the team played as a flawless unit. Now, Melvin Council Jr., that dog, tonight added 15 points. He hit multiple three-point shots to keep the pressure on Iowa State's defense. He also added 7 rebounds, and I think this is something to really highlight because Bill Self was extremely critical of his guards after the West Virginia game, talked about needing them to really pick up on the rebounding. And I think that's more directed at when there are a lot of second chance opportunities where the opposing team often gets more offensive rebounds because the ball will ricochet off the rim. That kind of gets away from the bigs, and it's just a free for all. And often the opposing team would be there because the guards just weren't having an impact on the rebounding aspect. Melvin Council Jr. contributed 7 rebounds, ladies and gentlemen. Flory Badunga, and I've been critical of Flory Badunga lately, and I'm not going to completely let up because he did play a very good game tonight. He provided a strong interior presence against one of the best bigs in the Big 12. He had 10 points, he added those 7 rebounds, and he had a significant 4 blocks. He really anchored down in the paint on both ends. He has improved in the contribution from really what we've seen late, and I think that probably came from really having that players discussion. I think Flory needs to hold himself accountable. He needed to understand that he hasn't been playing good basketball. And so I think he took it to heart and played a phenomenal basketball game. Ladies and gentlemen, Trey White. Is there anything negative to say about Trey White? Trey White is carrying this team from a leadership perspective. He absolutely was scorching hot tonight. He went off. He scored 19 points. He went 5 of 7 from 3. Absolutely significant threes. He added 10 rebounds, so another double-double for Trey, and he added 3 assists. Trey White was the leader on the floor tonight. He had an absolute impressive showing. He, again, spoke on the radio broadcast before the game talking about how the team had a players-only meeting, and I think that truly paid off. I truly believe that with how tight-knit these guys are, how close they are, they honestly had an intense players-only meeting, and they took from that what they needed to do. And I think really a contribution from Allen Fieldhouse added to that. But when they started to kind of take off in the first half, you could see how much more of a team they were. They weren't just solely relying on Darren Peterson just to be the guy. They weren't just trying to feed Darren Peterson. They played as a unit tonight. Bryson Tiller, ladies and gentlemen, who I've also been pretty critical as of late. And a lot of people in my comment section say he just doesn't get opportunities. He doesn't get fed the ball. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's often times where he's in foul trouble and he doesn't necessarily get a contribution because he's fouling. But tonight he added 8 points. He added 4 rebounds. He was hitting key shots and really some key dunks. He helped sustain the Kansas double-digit cushion and played more aggressive without fouling out. And I think that's one of the most important things with Bryson Tiller is playing in an aggressive style, playing very physical, but without fouling out. And I know that that's difficult. And there's times where tonight it felt like their bigs were going to be able to force some fouls on ours, but it just didn't go that way. And I think that's where Bryson Tiller looked different. He also did make a silly mistake, and I do want to highlight that because it just kind of brings you back to reality. I always feel the way Bryson Tiller plays at times, it feels like he plays at a much older type of way. But then you see some silly mistakes where he fouled a guy on the three-point line. And so those are the types of mistakes that if he can eliminate, he's going to be a huge contribution down the stretch as we get into a gauntlet of a schedule in February. We're going to play Arizona twice. And then as you get ready to head into March. So if he continues to progress in a positive way, which I truly believe he will, building momentum off of successful games like this, he's only going to improve. In a market that never sleeps, one name rises above the rest. Lisa Miller from Dan Lynch Real Estate. Trusted by hundreds and recognized across the Midwest, she delivers results when it matters the most. With over 13 years of experience and licenses in both Kansas and Missouri, Lisa isn't just selling houses. She's helping you find a place to call home. Whether you are a first-time homebuyer looking to upsize or selling your current home, Lisa makes the process smooth and stress-free. As a local expert passionate about building lasting relationships, she ensures her clients feel confident and satisfied every step of the way. Don't wait, your perfect home is just a call away. Contact Lisa today at 913-579-3246 or 913-369-3000 or visit lisamillersaleskc.com. Let Lisa Miller at Lynch Real Estate help you start your next exciting chapter. And let her know the beat of KC, Lucas Murphy, sent you her way. Now, guys, if I had to say Trey White was the MVP, it's tough to really kind of fully say that he was the MVP because Jamari McDowell, ladies and gentlemen, is someone we have to talk about. And I'm super high on Jamari McDowell. I don't think he's always going to come out and just have an insane scoring, game. He's not going to always just be that guy that just hits 7 threes. That's just not who he is. But he played an impressive 24 minutes of quality basketball. He scored 8 points. He hit 2 very key threes, one where the shot clock, I think, was at 2 or 1, and he hit it from the corner. He dished out 6 assists, and he had one of the best games in a Jayhawks uniform. He played impressively, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that only, again, builds momentum for a guy like Jamari who knows his role currently in the current state of this team. He knows what is expected of him. Play good defense, take quality shots, get to the foul line, shoot your free throws, and give your minutes, and that's what we ask of Jamari McDowell. Elmarko Jackson, again, another person who I've been pretty critical of because of the way that this team has been playing. At times, it feels like Elmarko Jackson's just out of place, but he played 21 minutes tonight. He added 8 points, and I think what was key for him was he was 5 of 6 from the free throw line. And I think that's significant because that shows that he's driving to the basket, which is he's extremely good at, and he's getting to the foul line and converting at the foul line. He also added 4 steals, which is big time, especially against a team like Iowa State, who is known for, on the opposing side, forcing a ton of turnovers. This team really kind of turned the ball over at a significant rate in the beginning of this game. And I think some contribution of that was because of Elmarko Jackson and really the pressure of the defense from the Kansas Jayhawks. And again, if Elmarko can do the little things right, he's a good basketball player. He's doing, again, what is asked of him. He's filling the role of coming off the bench, and he's filling the role. Eliminate the silly mistakes and the forced shots. We saw a forced shot tonight. He forced a 3 and it airballed. If he can eliminate some of those silly mistakes, he fits in perfectly, and like he did it tonight. I think that's the biggest thing. Now, from a team perspective, this is where it gets really good. Kansas shot 51% from the field. 51%! And to go along with that, they shot 50% from the 3. Indicators of both discipline and shot selection and hot hands across the roster. And I think that was a significant thing, too, is the fact that we had some hot hands tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't matter who had the ball. They were going to make an impact. The Jayhawks also dominated free throws, hitting 10 of 12, which I think was 83%. And they controlled the rebounding battle to limit second chance opportunities, which is a category where the Jayhawks have really been struggling as of late, is really kind of giving those opposing teams the opportunity to get second chances at scoring the basketball, and they've been executing on that. That was not an occurrence tonight against one of the best programs in the entire nation. Some other key categories, really stuff that we focus on again is the rebounding. They won 37-36. They squeaked out one rebound to really lead the Iowa State Cyclones. The Jayhawks also won the turnover battle, which is again another category I always highlight because it often feels like when we turn the basketball over, we lose in the second chance opportunities. We may not execute from the free throw line. We often lose the game. In this case, every category that I highlight, we won in. They would only give up 9 turnovers to the Cyclones 12. And again, majority of the Cyclones turnovers came in the first minutes of the game, which really helped Kansas build momentum. It really got the crowd behind them. It really got this Kansas team to kind of get a sense of urgency, and they took off. Defensively, Kansas held the Cyclones to 37% shooting overall. Ladies and gentlemen, you're talking about one of the best all-around offensive teams, again, in the entire country. The number 2 team in the country who was undefeated, who has played extremely well. They shot 37% overall. They turned the basketball over. They had contested shots throughout the night. They were not well executed. It felt like their coach could not do anything right and could not put the right team out there. It just didn't matter what the Cyclones did tonight. It was going to be Kansas's game to win. And by halftime, Kansas had already built a 21-point advantage, and they set the tone for the rest of the contest. They just did not let up. And again, there were a time where they made a run. They took the blows and they responded, which has kind of been the opposite of what we've seen lately. I really think this Kansas basketball team took to heart the loss at West Virginia. I really think, Bill Self was pretty critical. I know at the end of the West Virginia game, they were looking to interview Bill Self, and they kept saying on the radio broadcast that Bill Self's not available yet. He's not available yet. He's still talking to the team. I think they truly had a heart-to-heart. And then I think you pair that with the players-only meeting, which was a true heart-to-heart, and this team came out and played the best basketball we've seen them play this year. And against the number 2 team, again, in the entire country. Now, this is going to build momentum. This is going to hopefully kind of keep some sustained success for a team that really looked as a unit tonight. They looked like they were playing together. Even when Darren Peterson was on the floor, he wasn't just the guy that was trying to score as many points as he possibly could. They were playing well-rounded basketball. They were running sets. They were distributing the basketball. If there was a double team down low, one of the specific ones that comes to my mind immediately is Flory Badunga's double team down low. He dishes it to Bryson, and Tiller just slams it home. There was a lot of good movement of the basketball. This team, again, just played flawless tonight, and I'm so happy. I'm excited. I could not wait to make this video for you all, and it's going to be exciting. This show continues on, and we will continue to play quality Big 12 opponents as we continue through the season. I appreciate you all checking out this video. Make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.